With her head held high, Amelia went downstairs. When she spotted him, Javier was stepping out the front door into the sunlight. Worried he was about to leave for the day, she hurried after him. Wait, Javier. He paused, turning back to look at her, his expression unreadable. Her confidence suddenly wavered when she saw that he was not alone, but had a team of staff members, including Victor, in tow. She suddenly had the attention of a crowd, making it even harder for her to speak. She awkwardly stepped closer to Javier and leaned in, speaking low. It's about last night? Was it planning to good morning, too? Javier's teasing words made Amelia's cheeks flush. Shh, she whispered sharply, pulling him closer so they would have a little privacy. What if someone hears you say that? Javier's expression darkened with irritation. What is it, Amelia? I'm late for a meeting. Amelia wanted to flip him off and return inside, but managed to keep her cool. You can make them wait. You're a prince. Javier arched a brow. The person waiting is a queen. Oh, checkmate, she muttered, realizing she needed to get to the point. Listen, what happened last night was a mistake, just a meaningless accident. I was half asleep, barely even aware of what I was doing. Javier's jaw tensed, but he kept his composure. She was the mother of his child, after all. Don't stress it, he said coldly. It's already forgotten. This time, it was Amelia's stomach that dropped at his words. The kiss had been anything but meaningless to her. She'd only downplayed it because she knew the prince was out of her league. Her heart ached at his dismissal, though she told herself it was for the best. Why yearn for someone who doesn't want you? Still, his indifference stung. After breakfast, Amelia's phone buzzed. It was her grandmother, Martha, who had set her up on a blind date.
Are you ready to dazzle this young man?
Asked Martha seriously.
Though, I'll admit, he's not exactly young or handsome. But, darling, you're not in a position to be picky.
Amelia sighed. Yes, Grandma. I'll be there. I'll wear something nice, I'll be on time, and I'll be sure to keep my pickiness in check. Seconds later, she received a message from Martha, who, despite her age, was surprisingly tech-savvy. The text read, Giovanni Cafe at 7 p.m. Wear white. Don't be late. Max, sitting nearby and mimicking Javier by pretending to read a newspaper, glanced up curiously. What did Grandma want, Mommy? Amelia hesitated. But after everything she'd gone through since discovering Javier was Max's father, she had resolved to stop lying, especially to her son. Grandma set me up on a blind date, she said simply. Max furrowed his brow, clearly unfamiliar with the term, so she explained. It means Grandma wants Mommy to find a boyfriend, Amelia told him. So she found a man she knows who's also single and asked him if he'd like to meet me. Max nodded solemnly, then tilted his head in confusion. And the man is blind? Amelia burst out laughing. No. Well, I don't know. I didn't ask, but it's called a blind date because we haven't met each other yet. She softened her tone, pulling him closer. But baby, listen to me. If you don't want me to go, I won't. I don't need a boyfriend. Honestly, I'd rather spend the evening with my little moon. Max thought for a moment, his serious expression making him look far older than his age. I want you to go, Big Star, he said finally. You should find a boyfriend. Then he can be your husband. Aunt Sophie is marrying Charles soon, so you should find someone to marry too. Amelia was taken aback by his maturity. With her son's blessing and no valid excuse left, she realized there was no getting out of it. She would have to go on that blind date. Wearing a white sheath dress that skimmed her figure, Amelia sat in the corner of Giovanni Cafe, a cozy coffee shop, nervously stirring her cappuccino. Her eyes darted to the clock, then out the window. Maybe he won't even show up, she wondered, half relieved by the thought. The low growl of an engine caught the attention of the cafe's patrons. From the back seat, a window rolled down, revealing Tomas Flores, a boyishly handsome man with a confident smile. He adjusted his jacket and stepped out of the car. Inside, Amelia looked up just as Tomas entered. Seeing as to how the man who just walked in was good-looking, stylish, and, generally, a desirable catch, Amelia sadly deduced that he was not her blind date. That is, until, to her shock, the handsome stranger stopped directly in front of her. "Amelia," he asked, his voice warm and smooth. Startled, Amelia shot up to greet him. Her nerves momentarily disappeared under the glow of his charm. Are you my blind date?" she stammered. "I sure am," Thomas replied, his grin widening. "Though I have to admit, I didn't expect you to be this gorgeous." Amelia didn't know how to respond to that, so she just sat down. Thomas found that awkward and endearing. Her lack of social skills made her anything but artificial. Thomas pulled out the chair across from her and sat down. "What are you drinking?" he asked, nodding toward her cup. It's called a homemade cappuccino," Amelia replied, tilting her head. "Which made me wonder if they make it at home and bring it here," Thomas interjected. "Exactly," she exclaimed, delighted that someone shared her quirky thought process. "Can I try it before I order?" he asked, already signaling toward the cup. Amelia hesitated for a split second, but nodded eagerly. She watched as Thomas took her cup and sipped. Thomas set the cup down with a satisfied smile and called for the waitress. "I'll have what she's having," he said confidently. Amelia couldn't help but grin. Maybe this blind date wasn't such a bad idea after all. At the palatial villa, Javier sat down at the dining table with Max. The boy was happily munching on a hamburger. "Hey, son, how was your day?" Javier asked, leaning back in his chair. Max replied, "I read the newspaper." Javier raised an eyebrow, amused. "You did, huh? Did you learn anything about current world events?" Max nodded eagerly. "I learned that the Miami Dolphins are navigating a challenging phase." Javier chuckled. "Those are some big words for a little guy." He paused, looking around the room. Something was missing from this picture. "Well, where's your mom?" "She's on a blind date." Javier froze, his fork suspended in midair. "Amelia's on a date," he repeated, his tone sharp. Max nodded enthusiastically. "Grandma set it up, but I was the one who told her to go." Javier's expression darkened as he gripped his fork tighter. The idea of Amelia laughing and enjoying herself with some random man irritated him far more than he was willing to admit. The blind coffee date had gone so well that it naturally extended into a dinner date at the Italian restaurant next door. Thomas had a way of being playful, magnetic, and completely disarming. Amelia found herself laughing more in one day than she had in months. As the evening came to a close, the waiter brought the check, and Thomas began patting his pockets with an exaggerated frown. Amelia, I think I accidentally freeloaded you. I forgot my wallet." Amelia raised a brow, but couldn't help laughing. "Oh, I can't tell if you're serious." "I swear. I'll make it up to you," Thomas said, holding a hand to his heart. "Next time, dinner's on me. Deal?" "Fine. I guess that means you've got yourself another date," she replied, pretending to sound inconvenienced. Amelia tilted her head, smirking. "Are you going to ask me to call you an Uber now, too?" No need, Thomas said with a mischievous grin, typing something into his phone. That much I've got covered. Amelia's eyes widened as the driver stepped out, opening the door to the back seat. Thomas gestured toward the passenger side. Hop in, he said, his tone teasingly daring. What do you say we go for a ride? To find out what happens next, download the Pocket FM app in the next minute to get free access to all episodes of The Royal Accident for free.